Hey there, Daily Scare Share, day 382, which is actually day 3 because I'm starting the book, Do One Thing a Day That Scares You, over again. Got to the end of it. Last year went through all of it, but I didn't start at the very beginning of the book when I started this project last year. So I wanted to go back and go over the days that I did on and off again in the past and revisit them and see what's changed for me from 4 years, almost 5 years ago now, versus today, because of course I wrote in the journal 5 years ago and took notes, or 4.5 years ago. And it's really interesting because it's kind of like reviewing your history, things that you've totally forgotten about, which is kind of fun and kind of amazing. So actually doing this as part of a network marketing company, a friend of mine and I were scared to do this network marketing company. So I got us these books up at the cabin. I got one for her and one for me. And we did it for a while, but we weren't consistent. We kind of stunk at it. And so we quit. I went through the first 30 pages and I see that I quit and started and stopped this until last year, like 7 different times. I pulled the book out and I thought, oh, this is cool. And I'd do it for a day or two. And then I would get sidetracked and forget about it. And I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't stretch my comfort zone. I wouldn't look for things that scared me just a little bit to move me toward what I want. I didn't know to do this back then. Now I do. So today is day 3, which is also day 382, and it's a blank line day. What I last year coined the blank line days and the dreaded blank line days. And that's because they have just like one sentence and then a bunch of blank lines. Now, what I didn't realize until this year, or late last year, which is really kind of silly, is that there is a page opposite of each of these double days of blank lines that has a saying on it. And I did these as a separate day last year, but I'm going to do it with the blank line days when I'm doing the happiness challenge this year, because last year was all about doing one thing that scares me and stretch my comfort zone. This year is all about doing one thing a day that makes me happy. I hope that you would like to come along with me on that journey to make you happy. If you're comfortable in your life and you don't think that you need to stretch your comfort zone, guess what? We all need to be happier. So just put in the messages below or the comments below that you'd like to participate in that, and I will send you the link. It's just another one of my Facebook pages, actually on the Pajama Grandma page, because wearing fun pajamas like frozen pajamas makes me happy. I actually bought these for the whole family for Christmas last year because we were all going to go up to the cabin. And I wanted girls to all have matching pajamas. So all the little girls had frozen pajamas, and everybody between, I guess, my nephew's wife and my nephew's girlfriend and my sisters and my mom, we all had frozen pajamas, which made it really fun. Frozen pajamas and frozen like robe cape things, which were hilarious. I only had a couple of those, but they were really fun too. So what does it say today? What have we got today? What have we got to think about to stretch our comfort zone? Now, I'm going to tell you, getting frozen pajamas for my whole family was stretching my comfort zone because I wasn't sure how they would react. I mean, you might think, oh, that's dumb, that's silly. Why would y'all want matching pajamas? But it ended up being a really fun thing. So the saying that goes along with this challenge line, which says the harder path today, which what the heck does the harder path today mean? Says, when 2 paths open before you, take the harder one. That is a Nepalese proverb. Now, that doesn't surprise me because Nepal is famous for the Sherpas, and it's a very difficult, very challenging lifestyle in Nepal. I only know this because my son's been there. The Nepali and the Sherpas are the ones that go up and set all the ropes and make it safer, not safe, but safer for people to actually summit Mount Everest with the different base camps and things. So they're an extremely hardy people. And I can imagine they would look at 2 paths and take the harder one, which I don't know if I necessarily agree that we have to take the harder path. I think we need to not necessarily take the harder path in things, but the challenge today says take the harder path. So I'm going to define harder as improves my personal development and helps me the most. That's how I'll define the harder path. So what did I put? Let's see what I put. Last time I did this was August 31st of 2014. It says I cleaned out my refrigerator. Okay. If you know me, that would definitely be a harder path. And it was spotless, I said. I talked to a park volunteer that was, I remember this. I talked to a park volunteer with snakes because I hate snakes. All the years I've been going out to the state park, I've only seen 3 snakes. And I think that's because I dislike them, so I make sure that I don't see them. But I talked to a volunteer. He was doing a snake demo, and it was creepy, but I did it. And then I actually did some different paths at the park that I'd never done before. And so that was fun. And then I put out a promo for the network marketing company that I was in. And that, you know, I look back on this and I just kind of cringe because the way I was taught to do that business and promote that business was so old school and so backwards, and I wanted to say half-assed backwards, and so it didn't feel right for me, which is, I'm sure, part of why I did not stick with it. Love the products, love the company, love the people in the company, just hate the way they go about promoting the business and promoting the products. I mean, promoting the product, yeah, the whole thing. It's still so old school that I just don't like it. Anyway, doesn't matter. That's what I did. So this year, the harder path today, I've got a women's summit coming up. And I'm behind what I would think I would want my timeline to be to launch that. Now, the easy path would be to postpone my launch date and say, it's not going to go live next week. I'm not going to do it. The harder path is to hold myself accountable to my own commitment. And I'm going to do now a soft launch next week. It's launching next week on schedule. But I'm using this as an opportunity to soft launch it without a whole lot of promotion and hoopla behind it to make sure that all the bugs are worked out. And then what I decided yesterday I'm going to do is relaunch it and really launch it with all the promo and things 3 weeks down the road or so when I give it the time and energy that it deserves. Number one, the topics and the speakers are too important to half-ass put it out there without letting people know about it. And so it's a balancing act between postponing altogether and breaking my word to myself and actually launching it and doing a soft launch, learning from the soft launch, and then launching it with the promotion and the backing that it deserves. So I actually just came up with that idea yesterday because I was struggling with, yeah, it'd be easier to just change the date, but I'm not going to do that because it's not being true to myself. It's not meeting the commitment to myself. And no one else on the planet would really know or care. I mean, the women speakers, I've told them it was going to be the last week in January. So they might be disappointed and I might lose credibility with them. But mostly I lose credibility with myself. So to me, the easier path is not an option in that instance. So I'm struggling, but I'm getting it done. I'm getting all the interviews and things done. I'm getting all the pieces and all the assets and all the components together. Will it be perfect next week? No. Will it launch next week? Absolutely, positively. Will we do an awesome launch a few weeks down the road? Yes, because I think it's a project that's important enough to deserve that kind of promotion and letting people know about it. That's it. That's it today. What can you do today to take the hard path versus the easy path? And again, define harder as what's in your best interests for your own growth and personal development, not necessarily physically harder. I don't believe in making things physically harder for myself unless I'm challenging myself on a walk or something, or to go up a hill, or to get a project done. But that is personally challenging myself. It isn't necessarily physically taxing my body and having my box go off. Done that, and it wasn't very fun. So I'm a little smarter about my choices. But I agree with the Nepalese people and the people from Nepal that, you know, pick the path that will help you grow the most. All right, that's it. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. You got this. Don't worry. Don't be scared.